It's time for the drive with Q on Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game. Now, here's Q.
Good afternoon, everyone. 5 o'clock straight up on the East Coast. It is indeed a Monday edition of the Drive with Q coming at you live inside the friendly confines of the Sports Radio 1029 FM studios. We are powered by Coastal Sports Network and brought to you by our good friends over at Play It Again Sports and Zen Auto Concepts. As always, I'm your host, Rich Quinones, mi hermano, Angel Martinez, behind the glass, producing the show, keeping us on the air. About 60 plus to play with on this Monday as we are late in October, the 28th, 2024. As always, 727-858-6650. That'll get you involved into a sports talk. So this is where we're at because we got a busy show, a ton of NFL. My Yankees with the proverbial backs against the wall tonight. You got the Monday Night Football Giants and the Steelers. Giants are about a 6.5-point dog, and rightfully so. But I'll tell you, man, 8 weeks of the NFL season already in the books, and you've got the good, you've got the bad, and then you've got the ugly. And we'll start with some of the good. And yes, I will give credit where credit is due. I thought Cincinnati was going to play a lot better against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles look like a extremely dominant team on Sunday. It's one Sunday. Let's just back up a little bit and relax because we kind of saw it across the board yesterday in the NFL. But this is what I come away with. 8 weeks in the books. The most disappointing team in the NFL, it's not the Dallas Cowboys. And I know right away you guys thought it was going to be low-bearing fruit for me on this Monday. The Dallas Cowboys, right? Because we know at the end of the day, Dallas Cowboys, they overpaid for Dak. That's what the market is. They brought back Ezekiel Elliott. That was their big move. They brought back, they retained Mike McCarthy. It's blowing up in their face. Fine. We'll deal with the Cowboys in a second. But the embarrassment, the most disappointing team in the NFL, and a quarterback that I believe is absolutely cooked. I give you the 2024 New York Jets. Because what you saw yesterday in a game that they absolutely had no business losing to a horrible New England Patriots squad, the Jets once again spit the bit. The Jets once again decided this is so Jet-like. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go out and a team that's basically dominated us for 20-something odd years with the hoodie and Tom Brady and the litany of stars left and right. You can't win in New York. You can't win in New England. You're owned every time you go into Foxborough. They don't even show up. They don't even show up yesterday, and they lose a disgraceful game 25-22 to New England. And oh, by the way, New England loses their quarterback. You have to have a veteran journeyman quarterback come in Jacoby Brissett after you lose Drake May after a couple tosses. He's out with a concussion. And Jacoby Brissett just promptly goes 70-something odd yards and sticks it in the back of the end zone. And New England wins 25-22. It's pretty much a done deal right now if you're a Jets fan. It's pretty much the end of Aaron Rodgers. And I don't even feel bad because I think Aaron Rodgers is an arrogant, smug. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, don't get me wrong. Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great. Aaron Rodgers is not that guy anymore. Aaron Rodgers is a shell of himself, and the Jets make him look like, I don't know, Johnny Unitas suiting up in 72 with San Diego Chargers or Joe Namath, just limping around with the Rams. I mean, unbelievable how bad this team looks. Unbelievable how bad this quarterback will look at times. Look, he'll still make one or two throws, signature throws, back shoulder throws where you say to yourself, that's the Aaron Rodgers we remember from 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. We're not there anymore. And the Pats win this one 25-22. And the Jets now, so let's see. Let's get rid of the players. Let's fire the head coach. Let's not take any shots at the GM. Let's back number 8 and give him exactly what he wants. Let's make the trade for Adams. Let's have a players-only meeting with Adams. And then promptly what happens with this team? They go out and they lose not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 games in a row. And right now, they're arguably one of the worst teams in football. Now, I won't give a pass to their big brother in the New York Giants, who aren't a good football team. We know that. But this is a perfect example of how one franchise got in bed with an aging quarterback. And they put all their proverbial eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket. And it's blown up in their face. It's blown up in their face to this point. They're going to now have to decide who the hell wants to coach this team, what they're going to do with the GM, and what they're going to do with the quarterback. Because I don't believe he can play anymore at a high level. And this team, this defense that we always speak of, it's pretty evident it's overrated. I mean, we can talk all we want about the roster that's been assembled, and they've got talent on both sides of the ball. Talent's not enough in the NFL. Cincinnati has talent. They didn't show up against the Eagles. I mean, teams have talent in the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens have talent. They let Jameis Winston go pretty much the entire field late yesterday, and the Browns with an upset win. But they've got talent, Baltimore. Talent's not enough in the NFL. You need more. You need coaching. You need culture. You need philosophy. You need players to buy in. Tampa's got some talent. But look what happened to Tampa. I mean, listen, we've seen it. Look, the teams, even Kansas City, had to kind of fight through a win yesterday against the Raiders. And they're 7-0, and I would say they're a flawed 7-0 team. The 49ers have talent, but the 49ers are a 500 football team. They almost blew that game last night, Sunday Night Football, to the Cowboys, ultimately winning 30-24. So talent's not enough in the NFL. The Jets can have all the talent in the world. It doesn't matter. It just does not matter. You get to a certain point and you need more. And you need more. And it starts, and again, it ends with the culture. It ends with players buying in. It ends with everyone getting on the same page. It's not what we're seeing with the Jets. The inmates are in the asylum. The quarterback is calling the shots. And I said this a year plus ago. Forget about Aaron Rodgers. Go after Lamar Jackson. Open up the bank for Lamar Jackson. You don't want to go after a quarterback that's been banged up, that's aging, that's going to miss some time. 4 offensive snaps in, what does he do? He tears his Achilles. Oh, I'm going to come back. I'm going to tease the fan base. I'm going to defy logic. We knew that wasn't going to happen last year. Well, here we go. Entire offseason, in camp, OTAs, mini camp, preseason, ready to go. Jets, Super Bowl or bust. And look where they're at. It's a joke of a franchise. I don't know, if you're a Jet fan today, you say to yourself, what the hell's going on? It's embarrassing. And this is not an indictment. Look, the Patriots stink. The Patriots are not a good team. The Patriots, I believe they're going to be looking for a new head coach. We don't know yet what this rookie quarterback can do. We'll give it some time. But that roster was poorly constructed. That coaching staff was poorly constructed. But yet, for some reason, the kryptonite for the New York Jets is seeing anything related to the New England Patriots. It doesn't matter. They can play in the friggin' parking lot in North Jersey. Does not matter. They will find a way to lose to the New England Patriots, and their season is cooked. Their season is done. There will be no playoffs for the New York Jets. I don't give a crap what their schedule looks like. Their quarterback is shot. The defense is overrated. And they're just a friggin' fraud. And it's going to go down as one of the most disappointing, I would probably say, seasons ever for that franchise. But they're not the only one that you have to say, you know what, your season's pretty much cooked. You're pretty much shot. Now let me give you the Dallas Cowboys, which right now it's slow bearing fruit. They're 3-4. They lost last night to the 49ers 30-24. I mean, they're not a good team. And if you're a Cowboys fan today, you got to be wondering, the hell are we going to do with some of these players? We're paying a quarterback a substantial amount of money. That's not delivering. We have a head coach that you might look on the surface and say, regular season-wise, he wins a lot of games, but they can't get it done in the playoffs. And once again, you look at that roster. You look at the lack of moves that they made in the offseason. And then to add insult to injury, you got players coming out, i.e. Diggs last night, who won't even give a reporter a straight answer because the reporter's asking them legitimate questions. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys, you're looking around the NFC East. We'll get into Washington's win. The Eagles put together a really nice complete game and a win against Cincinnati. And then you got the Giants tonight, and they're not a good team. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about last week on our Football Friday show. It's not a destination. It's not where you want to go if you're a head coaching candidate. You don't want to coach the Dallas Cowboys. Hell, I don't even think you want to coach the New York Jets. That's how bad it is for these teams, respectively. So you want to talk about, again, the good, the bad, and then the right? And the ugly. And the ugly, the New York Jets. The ugly, the Dallas Cowboys. The ugly over the weekend, I don't know what the hell's going on with the Chicago Bears. That's a great win for Washington, by the way. I don't want to hear, well, the Bears deserve. Hey, man, I get it. If you want to sit there and say Eberflus needs to be fired today, if you want to talk about the player, the DB that was basically chiding the fan base and getting on the fans, and then all of a sudden, he's in the midst of a play where he doesn't, again, knock it down instead of knocking it up. That's a despicable, horrible friggin' loss by the Chicago Bears. But that's a great win for Washington. That's a really great win for Washington because typically Washington doesn't win those types of games. When you win a game like that, it's almost setting up where your season's going to be a special one. And Jaden Daniels is a flat out stud. He's a baller. He can play. There's a reason I predicted Washington to win the NFC East. I thought the Eagles and Dallas would take a step back. You already know I didn't think the Giants were going to be a threat. And I love the cultural change in Washington. And we're seeing it right now. We're seeing it right now. So there's your good. We mentioned the ugly. Now we squeeze in the bad because we don't like to go good, bad. We like to jump around. Bad is what transpired with a couple teams yesterday. And we're starting to see some teams in the NFL are fraudulent. And I know I'm going to hear from you Bucs fans down there in Southwest Florida. But right now, as it stands, Tampa Bay Bucs, they're a fraudulent team. They're a fraud of a team. Everyone was waxing poetic. They were 2-0, then they lost to Denver, and then they're 4-2, and they put up a lot of points in a loss against the Falcons. Well, now you come back and you get swept by the Falcons. You lose a heartbreaker to the Ravens where you showed a lot of guts, even though that score was not indicative of the contest. All of a sudden, boom, you look up, you drop 3 of 4. Tampa Bay is reverting back to bad habits. And I know they've got some injuries, and a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He's not turning the football over. He's fraud. If not the top team, not only